When we read the Bible, we see Jesus' ministry spoken of in various manners. We see him spoken of as a great prophet, as you just heard. And we see him, too, as a great high priest. The theme of priesthood, though, actually doesn't begin with Jesus. It begins all the way back in the garden with Adam. See, Moses describes the Garden of Eden as a temple, and Adam, therefore, as a high priest. And as a priest, Adam was supposed to protect the garden temple from sin. Adam was charged with serving and guarding this temple, but he failed. And when Adam saw the serpent in the garden, right, we know he should have crushed the head of the serpent, but instead he obeyed it. Adam, the high priest of the Edenic temple, failed, and you and I and all of humanity failed with him. Ever since, humanity has needed a great high priest that can get us back into the temple, back into the presence of God. See, when Adam sinned, he was cast out of the garden, and 2 cherubim came to guard it in Genesis 3. These cherubim represented God's holiness and humanity's corruption. They were a terrifying sign that due to the sin of Adam, humanity was banished from God's presence. Thus, we see these cherubim not only in the Edenic temple, but also on the veil of the tabernacle in Exodus 26. And on the Ark of the Covenant, there were cherubim over the mercy seat. And in Solomon's temple in 1 Kings 6, there are 2 humongous 15-foot-high cherubim carved of olive wood next to the Ark of the Covenant, which would have been in the inner sanctuary in the Holy of Holies. The point is this: God is holy, and we are not. The dilemma of all of creation can be framed this way. Humanity has sinned, and now there are 2 opposing parties that need to be reconciled to one another: humanity and God. And so the question of all of history becomes, how can human beings enter back into the presence of God, back into the temple, in such a way that they don't get chopped in half by the flaming sword of a cherubim? We need a high priest. We need someone to represent us before God. And church, here is the good news. The author of Hebrews describes Jesus Christ as this figure. He says in chapter 9, "For Christ has entered, not into the holy places made with hands, which are copies of the true things, but into heaven itself, now to appear in the presence of God on our behalf. Nor was it to offer himself repeatedly, as the high priest enters the holy places every year with blood not his own. For then he would have had to suffer repeatedly since the foundation of the world. But as it is, he has appeared once for all, at the end of the ages, to put away sin by the sacrifice of himself." Christian, through our union with Adam, we were all failed priests. We all failed to protect what is sacred. We all allow corruption to enter God's good creation. And even more than that, we all participate actively in the brokenness. You and I need a mediator. The good news is that God, through Christ, has become our mediator. He's become our representative high priest. Jesus Christ, who, unlike Adam and unlike us, lived a perfectly sinless life, represents us to the Father. He is our intercessor. He is our mediator that can reconcile us to God. All you'll need for this prayer station is a single piece of paper. As you do this station, Christian, look 2 places. First, look inside yourself to your own brokenness. Feel the weight of your own failed priesthood. Recognize the evil that even today lives inside of you. And then second, turn your eyes from yourself and look to Christ. He is your great high priest who is, as you sit in your living room, dining room, office right now, interceding for you at the right hand of the Father. Look to Christ, the great high priest who ever lives to intercede.